So last week my office put out a report on education spending in our public schools, and what we were looking at was, one, we looked at the salaries and how they have increased for various positions, so looking at teachers, looking at administrators, and in addition to that we also looked at the student to employee ratio for those same positions and found a couple of different interesting things. So we were looking at fiscal years 2013 to 2016. 2016 was the most recent year for which we could get data. And what we found is that teachers and principals got pretty low gross dollar average pay raises in that course of time. Assistant principals got increased raises a little bit higher. Deputy superintendents and superintendents actually ended up being the biggest beneficiaries in terms of gross dollar pay raises. Of course, these numbers are not adjusted for inflation, so if you adjusted them for inflation, all of them would move down a little bit. But what I thought was interesting in this was the difference between these various positions. The other thing we looked at was student-employee ratios for each of those same positions. And what we know is that from 2013 to 2016, the number of students in Mississippi public schools has actually declined a good bit. And in that time, not to be too technical, but teachers, assistant principals, and principals also saw a commensurate decline in their numbers as well. It's not a perfect correlation, but they did generally see a decline that came close to tracking the decline in students. Deputy superintendents did not see a decline in the number of folks in their positions. In fact, the student to employee ratio actually decreased by about 182 students. In other words, there are fewer students reporting to each deputy superintendent over this course of time. To say it another way, you could say that we added deputy superintendents. We actually added about 180 during that course of time. Point being, when you look at all this data, my conclusion is that we still have a lot of work in Mississippi to do to make sure that money gets into the classroom and gets to teachers. So my office is actually launching another study right now. We're going to go in and partner with 3 different school districts and do a pilot project. We're going to use some of the most advanced data analytics technology. We're going to pull every single expenditure that those 3 school districts have, and we're going to look and try to identify ways that we can help them save money and put more money into the classroom where it affects students the most. Stay tuned for that. It will be out early next year.